Congressman Scott Perry of Pennsylvania joins us right now, Freedom Caucus chair, many other influential committees as well. Congressman, this argument over how to fix this by raising taxes, that might be a possible answer, but I never hear much about the spending addressed. Your thoughts?
Well, thank you, Neil, for that. And no, it's not a possible answer when the revenue coming in is at record level, $5 trillion, right? We've never hit that point before. It is not a revenue problem. It is not a taxation problem. It is, once again, as always, a spending problem. Somebody has to be willing to address it, and somebody has to be willing to say so. And so for those of us who didn't participate in getting us to the place where we might be bankrupting our country, look, we have to acknowledge that our friends on the other side of the aisle and some on our side of the aisle in December passed this $1.7 trillion omnibus, and then 2.5 weeks later, the Treasury Secretary comes out and says, we've reached the debt limit, right? You've maxed out your credit card. We didn't create the problem, but this is our family, and we have to deal with it, and we have to govern. So for folks like me who have never voted for a debt ceiling increase, we've gone to our leadership and said, look, we're going to be willing to help solve this problem, but not by just continuing doing the same thing and adding a higher debt limit. We want to rein in this spending. So it begins with taking the money that you currently have that is unspent on things that you, A, don't need, B, can't afford, and C, the public doesn't want, and go and sending that towards the debt that we have, so that the limit isn't as high. You bring it down by this unspent COVID money, by this so-called wealth transfer from people that took out student loans that don't want to pay for them, and they want somebody that doesn't have college to pay for their loan. You claw that money back and you put it in. You do not pay for an expanded IRS to come to our homes and knock on our doors and browbeat us. So we can save a lot of money there. That's number one.
Well, you are,
number two,
Congressman, you've been very consistent yourself on this debt ceiling, that you've never been a fan of, how it's gone about and some of the things that are getting criticized now. But the fact of the matter is, your party as well, during the early years of the Trump administration, spent like crazy. And of course, COVID hit, really spent like crazy. This piling of debt has happened under both parties, your reluctance notwithstanding. And I'm just wondering how we resolve this, because the reality is that Kevin McCarthy is linking it to, maybe at your behest and others who are forcing the issue, to say it's going to be different this time. We're not increasing that ceiling until we get some credible cuts. The White House is saying we're not going to go that way. Is the example what we had in 2011, where there was an agreement after the ceiling was raised to look at some of these budgetary issues? Or do you not trust that process?
No, we don't trust that, particularly for that reason, which is why we're demanding the cuts up front in this year. And that's how we know it's real. So that's why I talk about the unspent COVID money, the new IRS, the cost of that, the Inflation Reduction Act, where $277 billion in Green New Deal tax incentives now are being touted as probably $1.5 trillion. We need to claw all that back, not spend that money, put it towards the debt, lower that ask for the debt ceiling, and then take care of the debt ceiling, and then get an appropriations process in place where we actually spend less money. Look, if we kept President Obama's last budget, which took us into 2024, we'd be balanced right now. It is a spending problem. It is not a revenue problem. So the other side of the equation, Neil, as you know, is growing the economy, which is why we want to open up our energy sector in America instead of having it under assault by the Biden administration. We want to enact the REINS Act to bring to close in some of these regulatory agencies that foist all this stuff on it that cost the American consumer untold amounts of money. None of this is needed, none of it is wanted, none of it is necessary, and none of it is affordable.
So real quickly, if Kevin McCarthy doesn't do that, is he out?
Well, look, I think he wants to do it. We got to get the rest of the conference there. We got to get 218. We got a small margin. But I think we need to put a marker down that is very strong. I think the speaker is willing to do that.
But the president is not. The president is not for doing this linking that you're doing, Congress. I don't mean to belabor the point. Well, but now that means almost inevitably we don't get this done, and we have a default. Do you see that as happening?
No. What that probably means is we don't get everything we want, but neither does the president. Look, You know, as I do in business, the position of I will not negotiate is untenable. The president's trying to ride that out as long as he can. But once this hits a crisis point, especially once the House has passed something, he's not going to be able to stand on that anymore. He's going to have to come to the table. We all know it.
Congressman, great seeing you again. Scott Perry, he
Great
is
to see you.
a linchpin in these discussions here.